Hi, guys. How are you? Welcome into the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. We can just go by the name you're seeing written across my forehead if you're watching this on the BettingPros YouTube channel. That would be the worst, meaning the worst bettor on the planet. At least last night I was. Oh, my goodness gracious. 0-5, boys and girls. 0-5. It was not even pretty with my own place. 0-7. So the bag over my head is because of what happened last night. I'll take it off for this podcast. But wow. This podcast being brought to you by omahasteaks.com. You guys use that promo code JUICE. You've been using that promo code JUICE. You've been sending me all of your receipts, and I very much appreciate the support, guys. I really do. Saves you $30 off on the half-off sale going on nationwide. Great way to do it, or site-wide rather. Great way to send anything nationwide to friends, family, loved ones this holiday season. Take advantage of it. Half-off sale going on right now. 50% off plus $30 off at checkout when you use the code JUICE. Minimum purchase may be required. I don't know if I even want to go over last night how many... I spent 3 hours handicapping that card last night. I loved that card last night. I loved it. Let's just go through it just to amuse me for a second. I bet over 59.5 on the Boston Celtics. Boston had not one, not two, but 3 shots, including a dunk attempt, to go over that number. It fell 59. I bet over in the first period for Nashville and Philadelphia. Philadelphia had 14 shots on Saros and 3 power plays in the first period. 3. And they couldn't score. That's unbelievable. I mean, that's not just like, wait, what? Nashville got 1, but so that was the first official loss that came in. The goal that got scored, the goal that San Jose gave up, that Blackwood gave up, was so soft in the final 3 minutes of the first period. It was Winnipeg who scored that in the final 3 minutes. Sorry, that goal was a fluttering puck that hit off the goalie's glove and fluttered into the net to have it go over. We were trending in the right direction, gonna stay under. That game ended 2-1. 2-1. 2 goals in the first period because we bet under 1.5 in the first period. That's just like... everything went the wrong way. The Lakers game, everyone played, and the number ran right back up. We bet under. It went way over. Flew over. Mavericks at home are not an under bet. Rest of the season, I'm not betting under on the Mavericks at all, period. No questions asked. They are an over team at home. With or without Kyrie, don't matter. Over on Maverick games. That was dead. I was able to get out of that early. When I saw that, I was like, oh, we're in trouble. So I was going to get out of that a little bit. So, I mean, that was literally the only bet I got right last night. But everything else is dead wrong. I mean, dead wrong. 0-7. What I talked about on the podcast last night. 0-5 officially. That's the first time I've ever gone 0-5. I don't normally bet. I don't give you guys 5 bets normally. That's the rarity thing. And that's the frustration thing because look, if we get 2 of those breaks to go our way, I bet the team total over for the Oilers. They wound up over 4.5. They wound up with 4. It didn't go over 4.5. I was like right there. The Vegas Golden Knights had multiple leads against Calgary. They won the game in overtime. Not even in regulation. I would have given you the in regulation bet. That would have lost too. Like either or, right? That's was like, don't bet puck line, bet in regulation. Okay, wouldn't have mattered. Vegas had a lead late. They gave up a 4th goal to tie the game with, a minute to play to Calgary. Vegas can't close games. It's wild. They cannot close games out. I don't know why. They simply cannot do it. It's crazy to watch. But Vegas has a really hard time doing that. So we go, what was the 4th bet? So over was wrong first period. Under was wrong first period. The Golden Knights puck line was wrong. Oh, and then the over, it ended 4-1. Ended 1 goal short. 4-1 on the Vancouver game to go over. Vancouver won 4-1. Tampa Bay, how about that? I mean, Demko's been phenomenal at home. I faded. That was my riskiest bet. I'll admit that was risky because Demko's been so good at home, but he was 0-3 against Tampa. I thought he might give up 2 goals. He gave up 1. Good win for Vancouver. Vancouver's hot at home, okay? That's a team you got to look at. When the Canucks are at home, we got to start talking about the Canucks on the puck line and what they're doing at home, but not necessarily from a total perspective, but from unders maybe, not overs, but from unders maybe. We look at that. So 0-4 in hockey, big dent in hockey. I got to go and do some quick math on this as to what I've done in the month of December. December's been this has been the worst month since I've been back hosting the Daily Juice, and we're just doing such massive damage to what we were up. Let's see. So last week we were down, I don't know, 6 units or so last week. We were down in the first week of December. Well, that was like the last week of November, though. So like what? So let me look at the date here. Okay, yeah, so there's December. So since December has started, that's 3, 6, 7, 1 a unit there, 6. Yeah, so like we're probably going to be down around 11 or 12 units since we started the month of December. So that's going to take us all the way down. We're going to drop down below 30 units being up now with this 5.5 unit loss. We'll drop down to 29 units being up. This will erase. Oh, no, this will drop us down now to be losing in hockey. We were 127 and 122. We'll now be 127 and 126. This will take us to be down about 7 units or so in the NHL, maybe more than that actually in the NHL. So this will now become the second worst sport. Hockey has become really tough. I've been really cold with hockey. I got to watch out for that. Okay, so the NFL, we're 46 and 41 in the NFL. We're still profitable, 1.4 units, not heavily. We're profitable with NFL prop bets, 32 and 29, so 52.8. 52.4. College football still continues to be very profitable, 56 and 35 in college football, up 16.25 units at 61.1% there. NBA, even with the loss last night, we're 61 and 38. That's 62%. We're up 20 units in the NBA still, but I got to get cracking on hockey, and I got to see if I can turn things around a little bit here. We need to get hot in hockey. It's just a tough time. Right before Christmas, teams are really banged up. That was a wild night last night. So much inconsistencies that went into that, but, it is what it is. Okay, so here's what I'm doing today. I'm only going to give you 2 bets, and you want to fade both of them, go right ahead. I don't blame you, okay, if you want to fade both of them. But I am going to watch Creighton play UNLV. The number is 13.5. The total is 152. The team total is 83.5 for the Creighton Blue Jays. Look, you can bet all 3. All right. This is KenPom has this as Creighton scoring 82 points. I think that's a little bit light, to be quite honest, as to what the Jays have done. He has this as a 16-point win for the Creighton Blue Jays. So my gut tells me this number is going to move. The Jays aren't going to be 13.5-point favorites when it's, when this thing closes. It's going to be more close to 16 or 17 points. So you can bet the Jays if you want. You can bet the over if you want. I mean, it's pretty much right where, actually, KenPom thinks it's an under, right? I got to do some math, not on the air. Yeah, KenPom thinks this is going to be an under game, which is somewhat surprising, 148. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think the Jays are going to score a ton, personally, okay? Team total is 83.5 for the Creighton Blue Jays. You're talking about the 12th best offense in college basketball for adjusted efficiency. Talking about a team that has the number 1 margin from behind the 3-point line in the country, the Creighton Blue Jays. And guess what UNLV does really poorly? Guard the 3, all right? They're 357th in the country at guarding the 3-point line. That is horrific, okay? The Jays are top 13 in percentage and number 1 in point differential from behind the 3-point line. Defensively, the Jays are good, top 10 in adjusted efficiency, top 13 effective field goal percentage. They don't turn you over all that much, but they don't give up offensive rebounds because of Kalkbrenner's size underneath. And this UNLV team is just, look, they don't have much size. They have one kid who's 6'11", who's not going to be much of an issue at all. This team is pretty undersized. They like to run. They want to go up tempo, right? look, Kevin Kruger is a good coach. He just hasn't had the horses at UNLV, and this is a really tough matchup. This game's on national TV at CBS Sports Network, and the Jays are killing people at the moment. Creighton has come in here the last 2 games that they've played. I mean, it's been wild. They scored 89 against Nebraska. They won the game by 29. They scored 109 against Central Michigan. They won the game by over 40, by 45. Okay, that game went over by 25 points. The Nebraska game went under, and I think that's what this game could look like. 89-60 could be somewhat of a similar situation here, although UNLV has gone over 5 straight games, and they've gone over 6 of 1. Every game away from home on neutral courts, which is what this will be, technically a neutral court, it's gone over. They're 4-0 to the over on a neutral court. The Jays have played here. They lost last year here in Vegas when they played, and they love coming out here and play. Coach Mack loves scheduling Vegas games and playing here in Las Vegas. I expect the Jays to be focused. They play Alabama on Saturday on national TV, so this is somewhat of a tune-up game, even though it's a pretty far trip out here to Vegas for this neutral site game. Officially, Creighton Blue Jays over 83.5 team total for 1.1 units. You want to fade it, go right ahead. You want to lay 13.5, go right ahead. You want to bet the over, go right ahead. I'll have bets on all of them, okay? That's how I handicap this game over the weekend, okay? As this is what's going to be. Is it going to be that easy? I don't know how UNLV is going to stop the Creighton Blue Jays. Maybe they look to play slower, but I don't think that that's what they do. That's not what they're built to do. UNLV is giving up 74.4 points per game. That is 222nd in college basketball. The Jays are scoring 86.8 points per game on average after that big performance last week, or last game. That's 11th best in the country, but number 2 in effective field goal percentage, not adjusted, just straight effective field goal percentage for the Creighton Blue Jays. 3-point percentage, they're hitting over 40% of their threes, and UNLV is giving up over 40% of their threes. If the Jays hit their 3-point shot, which is what they've done, if they like this gym, which I think they will, this game, the Jays should score 90. All right, they should score 90 points tonight. Over 83.5 is the official team total. But again, with how ice I've been, bet under and just kind of ride it out. Game's going to tip off at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific time on CBS Sports Network. Creighton laying 13.5. Yes, I'll be on that. Yes, I'll be on the over. Jays win the game somewhere in the neighborhood of 90-70, somewhere in that range. I think UNLV will probably score garbage time here and the game will go over. But, we'll see what ends up happening in the game. So that's my first play. Second play is going to be kind of easy. It's going to go right back to the bet we missed last night. Winnipeg under in the first period. Okay. Right back to the well. They were on an 11-1 streak. They lost. Okay. Allow 11-2. That was Brossois. This is Hellebuck. Yes, it's the Kings, but on a back-to-back, I don't expect much offense here from Winnipeg, and I think you can have Hellebuck stand on his head here and maybe only give up 1. Cam Talbot on the other side, expected for LA. He's tremendous. I don't think that Winnipeg is going to score against Talbot in the first period. It's the same price at plus 110 that I got last night. It's the same bet. It's the only other bet I'm making. Okay, 1 unit, plus 110, under 1.5 goals. Winnipeg and LA for the LA Kings. Back to the well. Fade it if you want. Bet the over, and hopefully you guys cash on both these bets, okay? There's really nothing else I can say but sorry, all right? I know a lot of you guys are losing money, and you're mad, and I fade away, all right? I'm not going to take offense at all. All I say is you can bet against me. Just don't be a jerk because I'm losing money right there with you, okay? So you want to yell at somebody, yell at yourself, all right? Don't yell at me. I'm right there with you. There's no point, okay? You can say, Matt, I took your advice. You did, okay? But take some responsibility for that because I lost too. This is this podcast, all right? I'm not selling you a pick, all right? I'm giving you free information. You're doing what you want with it, okay? Yes, I thank every one of you for listening, watching, pay attention, listen to what I say, pick what, follow me, fade me, whatever you want. And I'm going to get up in the morning, and I know it's going to be there. There's going to be 15 different DMs on 4 different platforms from people furious. The comment section on the YouTube page is going to be filled up with people ripping me, saying I suck. Yes, I have sucked in December. There's no running from that, okay? But this is the one thing I try to tell you guys. I will sit here and face the music. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to tell you like, oh, this is, blah. I'm just going to tell you the truth, okay? That's what I give you. This is not easy. Sports betting is hard. Somebody wrote to me that variance gets us all. Yeah, fair. Still sucks when it happens, though. Still sucks when you're ice cold and you're not seeing the board for weeks on end. This is the mental grind of this podcast, okay? It's the holiday season. Everyone's distracted. Everything's doing, but we're here every day making picks, giving you plays, and betting. I get paid to do this. That's the difference, okay? I get it. You guys are betting your money and your hard-earned money, and you're losing your hard-earned money because of what I've said if you follow these picks. Hopefully you guys can fade, but the problem is with fading me is that this is why it's difficult to fade me because, I know a bunch of you guys will bet with me tomorrow because you're like, Matt can't keep losing. He's going to win one of these days. Okay, fine, fair. One of these days I probably will. But last night was the worst night in the history of the juice. I haven't lost 5.5 units ever. Not in my memory hosting this podcast. I don't remember 0-5. Maybe some of you OGs can bring it back and say, yeah, Matt, you've lost 5 times in a row. You've gone 0-5 before. I don't normally give out 5 picks. That's why it's rare to go 0-5, okay? And normally if I give out 0-5, I go 2-3 or 1-4. I don't ever remember going 0-5. Really, really bad. And I'm so ticked off because I like those bets so much. I spend so much time working and looking and reading, and I like them all. I thought at worst I'd go 3-2 last night. At worst, 0-5. Again, Creighton team total over 83.5 tonight for 1.1 units. And we're going first period under Winnipeg and the LA Kings for plus 110 for 1 unit. 2.1 units in play. That is all here on a Wednesday. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me on socials at Sports Talk Matt every morning. The Daily Juice podcast always being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.